Magandang araw po ulit and welcome to another video. And in this video, pag-usapan natin kamusta yung gaming performance nung isang APU type na PC build. So kung ikaw yung user na up until this point, hinihintay mo pa rin na mag-price drop yung ina-eye mo na graphics card for your PC, and while waiting for its price to drop, are you now considering na mag-APU type muna na build? So kung ikaw yung klase ng user na yan, you can share it in the comment section kung ano yung graphics card na ina-eye mo for your PC build. So before we proceed and before I show you kung ano yung data na nag-gather natin, first, i-share muna natin kung ano yung specifications nung ating PC na ginamit as we run this testing. So first on our list, we are using yung Ryzen 7 5700G na kung saan yung graphics capabilities ito, meron itong 8 graphics core count running in 2000 MHz na frequency. And we pair it with a 32GB na memory running in 32,000 MHz, yun yung kanyang speed. And sa monitor naman, we are using a 1080p monitor na 75Hz with a support dun sa AMD FreeSync. And siguro to consider also na yung mga games na nirun natin during our testing, all of these games is running in an HDD storage. So to show you kung ano yung information na meron tayo, so let's now proceed dun sa ating testing performance with the different game titles. And in our first game, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, so what we did is naka-default yung kanyang display and graphics configuration. Ang ginawa lang natin in this testing is pinalit-palitan lang natin yung resolution and yung settings to turn on and off yung kanyang FSR. And if you will see, medyo malit lang yung ating AMD overlay to capture yung different metrics. But what's good with this game, since it has an in-game benchmarking test, so nakita natin yung actual or yung current na FPS as part ng ating run. If you will notice, yung 720p na FSR na part, medyo highlighted yung colors. Late ko na lang din kasi na-decide na idagdag tong mode na to, and hindi ko na mabalikan yung configuration kung paano ko nagawa na medyo punchy yung capture or yung screen capture dun sa rest of the three na resolution. So, ito yung comparison niya side by side, and this is how it performs in different or in multiple configurations ng ating testing. And in our next game, so this is Lego Builder's Journey. And this game doesn't have an in-game performance test. But here is the current settings. So mamanu-manuhin na lang natin siya as we use this one. And ito yung kanyang default configurations. Makikita natin dyan. So let's try to do yung 720p na native resolution. So makikita natin dun sa ating AMD overlay na meron na agad siyang 39 na FPS. So let's try to proceed on simulation na kung paano siya nilalaro. Pero on this one, hindi na tayo masyadong gagalaw-galaw ng parts, but let's try to do some movements para makita lang din natin yung different angles. If in case na curious kayo dun sa itsura, pero in this testing, hindi ko kasi masyadong focus kasi gusto ko lang kita kung gaano ba siya ka-playable, no? So that's how the 720p na native resolution. So let's turn on yung kanyang FSR. So by the way, yung FSR has a multiple configurations. Yan, meron siyang balance, performance, etc., etc. But for the sake of this demonstration, gamitin lang natin yung balance na mode. And if you will notice, again, dun sa kanyang AMD overlay, yung kaninang nasa 30 plus na FPS. So right now, we're getting 64 when we enable yung FSR in 720p resolution. So let's try to do, again, random movements and see kung paano yung capture while rendering yung ating picture. And now, let's try to do yung another setting. So coming from 720p, punta naman tayo dun sa native na 1080p na resolution. So let's see kung ano naman yung mga capture natin na FPS using this configuration. And if you will notice again in our AMD overlay, yan, coming from 60 plus, 39, so unti-unti na siyang bumababa until such time na mag-refresh. Ayan, so this is 1080p, and if you will notice, nag-drop na agad siya, no, below 30 FPS na yung kanyang naka-capture frame time. But if you will see or if you will look on kapag ginagalaw natin, smooth pa rin naman siya, hindi naman siya masyadong pansin yung kanyang lag, no. So let's try to enable yung FSR using 1080p na resolution. Still, we will use yung balance na type ng FSR. And see kung ano naman yung mga capture natin na frame time. So, yun, nag-increase na siya, no? So, nasa 30 FPS na ulit tayo when we enable yung FSR. And even going up, nasa 43. Okay, so this is how it looks whenever we're curious, no, kung ano yung itsura nung kanyang display within this type of configuration. And next in our list, this is Stranding. So, tignan natin kung ano naman yung FPS na maka-capture natin. But before that, let's proceed with the graphics settings. So, let's start by using yung 720p na resolutions. And then the rest of the configuration is the default settings. Yan, yung kanyang models and textures, shadows and reflections. And this is the default. And yung Fidelity FX, ito yung kanyang FSR. So, let's turn this off for the meantime. And since this game doesn't have an in-game benchmarking, so we will try to do some random movements, no, as we play along and see kung ano yung capture na FPS. So disregard muna natin yung FPS na nasa ating AMD overlay since wala pa naman tayo masyadong nire-render, wala pa masyadong movement. But as we go along, habang nilalaro natin siya, manonotice ninyo na unti-unti gumagalaw na yan. Ayan, yung ating FPS, nagda-drop na siya, and I think eto na yung actual when we do yung 720p na native resolution. So right now, nasa 52 tayo na FPS. And let's see kung ano yung itsura nung video, kung ano yung movement. So right now, so far, smooth pa rin naman yung kanyang performance or yung kanyang feel, no, as we play this game. So that's the 720p na native resolution. We have, I think, normally parang nasa 50 yung kanina na nakita natin. So let's try to switch configuration, and this time let's enable yung kanyang FSR na settings. Still, nandun pa rin tayo sa 720p na resolution. I-on lang natin yung FSR. And if you will notice sa ating AMD overlay, nagte-take effect na rin siya. And let's see, as we do some random movements again, tingnan natin kung ano yung mga capture. So this is 720p with the FSR enabled. So 100, hindi pa rin ata yan. But ayan, I think this one, 66. So it starts with 66. And let's do again walk around. Itong larong to, ano eh, no? Tuwing lalaro ko to, naglalakad lang to si Delivery Boy. So far, nagde-deliver siya ng mga gamit. So this is how this game is being played. And there's multiple terrains, different terrains na makikita mo as you explore yung kanyang area. So ayan yung FSR. So sa FSR, nakakuha tayo ng above 50. And I think we're hitting yung 60 FPS from this configuration. So let's try to do yung 1080p na native resolution. So let's turn off itong FSR niya and see kung ano naman yung mga frame rates na makakapture natin running this configuration. So let's see. Yan, ito na yung kanyang gameplay. So tuloy-tuloy lang natin ang paglalakad ni Sam Porter. So from the AMD overlay, we're now getting 44 FPS. Ayan. So we're now running on 1080p. So may mga konting parang screen tearing, no? Pero if you will look on the visuals, maganda pa rin naman siya. And di pa rin naman siya ganun kalag. Anyway, it's still above 30 FPS. So, medyo manageable pa yung ganyang FPS for me, no? Hindi naman ako heavy gamer. So, naglalaro tayo just for the sake of, ano lang, libangan lang or casual gaming lang naman yung ginagawa natin. So, this is 1080p na native resolution for Death Stranding. So, this time, let's try to enable yung FSR. So, balik tayo sa graphics settings and Fidelity FX. Yan. Turn on natin tong feature na to. Confirm and let's see. At ituloy po natin ang paglalakad ni Sam Porter. So, we're now running on 1080p na FSR. And silipin natin yung ating FPS. So, right now, we're hitting 47 FPS with the FSR enabled. So, yung kanina parang mga 30, no? But, ito, umabot tayo ng additional parang 10 FPS doon sa ating paglalakad at paglilibot in the Death Stranding environment. So, this is how it looks like. Ito yung mga na-capture natin while gaming this Death Stranding with 1080p or with different resolutions and FSR enabled and disabled. And next game on our list, this is GTA 5. So nagulat ako, no, dun sa game na to, hindi ko na-expect na ganon yung magiging run niya on our PC build. So that's why on this testing, hindi na tayo gagamit ng ibang resolution kasi for me, outstanding na yung FPS na nakukuha natin. So this is running in 1080p na native na resolutions. And this game has an in-game benchmark test. Ayan po yung nakikita natin na nagpa-play on our screen right now. And if you will notice, outstandingly, we're hitting above 60 FPS. Which is, for me, this is good na. Kaya, yun nga, hindi na tayo nag-try ng other resolutions. And for this game, hindi ko makita yung kanyang FSR settings. And I think, hindi supported natively ng FSR itong game na ito. Dahil wala rin ako makita na settings dun sa kanyang, nung tinitingnan natin yung display or yung graphic settings. So, this is the FPS that we have captured so far dun sa kanyang benchmarking test. And di ko na-expect din talaga no, na magiging playable tong game na to. Akala ko heavy to sa graphics. By the way, we're still using yung default na graphics. Hindi na natin ina-adjust yung quality. So, kung ano yung default settings during installation, yun na rin yung ginagamit natin. It's more of the resolution lang din talaga yung changes na ginagawa natin dito. So, this is the FPS na nakuha natin, which is for me good. Smooth na siya for for a casual gamer like me. And right now, we have NBA 2K22. Again, this is also running in 1080p resolutions. Hindi na rin tayo nag-try ng ibang resolutions because if you will notice, maganda na rin yung FPS na nakukuha natin while running this game. Kobe for 3! To consolidate yung nag-gathered nating data, in this presentation, we categorized yung games which supports FSR. And makita natin dito na FSR really improves the gaming experience in terms of FPS. Or sabihin na nating smoothness or playability of the game as it helps to generate an additional FPS boost. Although it varies in each game, pero with what we have gathered, in average, a boost of 27% yung nakuha natin para sa 1080p and 28% naman para sa 720p gaming. And dun naman sa games which does not have FSR natively, although di ko lang din sure, baka may kinalaman dito yung dahil sa Steam ko nilalaro itong dalawang titles na to, you may share it in the comment section if in case familiar kayo if Steam helps to improve yung playability ng mga games using their platform. But I tried to search yung AMD website for their games which supports FSR, and as of this time, wala nga din sa list nila itong NBA 2K22 at GTA 5. But having said that, proceed tayo with our data. May kita natin dito na in 1080p native resolution alone, nakakakuha na tayo ng 60 FPS. So para sa akin, enough na ito. Kaya di ko na din tinry, no, itakbo gamit naman yung 720p resolution. So far with this title, smooth na rin naman yung gaming experience natin. And as you can see, manilang, no, with our build, yung ganitong setup. Alright, so with the information that we have gathered, I can say that definitely it can run a game. Nagkakatalo na lang siguro, no, kung anong klaseng game ba yung ina-expect mo. But if you are a user who are into a casual gaming, you just wanted to enjoy yung gameplay, so definitely with the FPS or with the information that we have captured, that's already enough. That's already okay. Pero kung ikaw yung user na nandun sa more on competitive side, so definitely you wanted more FPS, gusto mo mas smooth, gusto mo mas okay yung visuals, so definitely you will need a dedicated graphics card for that. So you can share it in the comment section kung ano ba yung FPS na enjoyable sa'yo, and siguro ano na rin ba yung screen resolutions, no, na masasabi mo enjoyable laruin yung mga ganitong klaseng games. So I hope this video helps at meron kayong napulot na konting information, and if in case hindi pa po kayo nakasubscribe, please subscribe to our channel. So maraming salamat po for tuning in. Thank you and God bless.